It was early, almost still night, and the neighborhood was waking up slowly. The asphalt gleamed, a leftover from the silent rain. Amelia, 20-something, walked with measured steps. In her right hand she carried a sandwich wrapped in brown paper. In her left, the worn-out gloves for her cleaning shift. Her uniform, spotless despite being threadbare, revealed long workdays, and the leather on her shoes was begging for mercy. An engine ripped through the air. A white SUV swung around the corner, picking up speed without warning. Amelia thought about stepping back, but there was no time. The tires sank into the wide puddle by the curb, and a fan of muddy water shot up, soaking her from head to toe. The icy splash knocked the breath out of her. Before we go on, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so every new chapter reaches you right on time and nothing in this journey slips by. The car didn't stop. Through the tinted window, lowered for a few seconds, appeared a woman dressed in over-the-top excess. Bright red lipstick, sunglasses bigger than her face. She laughed out loud, a sound that stung more than the grime. "Next time, pick a better route," she shouted, then hit the gas. Amelia trembled but stood her ground. She wiped her face, grabbed the soaked bag, and kept walking, determined not to be late. Across the street, behind a mirrored window, someone watched it all in silence. The steady stare promised more than curiosity. There was enough power there to turn that humiliation into something completely unexpected. A black sedan sat still on the far curb. Inside, Austin watched quietly as the wheel flung dirty water over Amelia's uniform. He heard Natalie's crystal-clear laugh. She was a designer famous for her clothes and for the pride she wore. That was enough. Austin pulled out his phone. "I want the girl's name, find out everything." Soaked, Amelia slipped through the service door of Crownville Towers. The hem of her skirt dripped, her hair clung to her face, and every step left a mark on the floor. The supervisor raised an eyebrow. "Late and looking like that?" "A car splashed me. I tried to clean up, sir." "Talking won't turn the clock back. The lobby needs to shine before the guests show up." She swallowed hard and headed to the supply closet. Co-workers gave her that quick look that mixes pity and relief it wasn't them. Amelia changed clothes, put on her second uniform, older but dry, pinned up her hair, and started scrubbing railings with the rhythm of someone counting pennies. While the rags swirled in the bucket, her mind drifted away. Her little sister sleeping in their one-room apartment, the rent due in a few days, the fear of losing her paycheck. Every breath reminded her there was no room for mistakes. Even so, she kept her posture, as if her own dignity were part of the job. From the car, Austin kept watching. He knew some stories start with a splash, and certain splashes can change destinies. High up in a glass tower, Austin sat almost motionless behind a minimalist desk. A prodigy among billionaires, he preferred listening to talking. When his assistant set the report down, he flipped through it like a story he already knew. Amelia Bennett, 23, 2 cleaning shifts, an apartment in West Pine, guardian of her sister, grieving their mother for 2 winters. The attached photo showed Amelia smiling beside the girl, and it held his gaze for long seconds. Reflected in the glass, he whispered, "She didn't do anything to deserve this." The assistant looked up. "Want us to act on it?" "Not yet. I need the whole picture," he said, closing the file like tucking away a secret. Across town, Natalie Hayes' reflection shimmered off the marble walls of her penthouse. She clasped a necklace while notifications popped on her phone. Invites, partnerships, quick compliments. Daughter of a real estate tycoon and darling of luxury brands. Natalie swirled her smoothie and said, "That girl crossed too early. In the end, I was nice. I could have run over her hand." Haley, balancing hangers worth a month's pay, let out a short laugh. "Sure, Natalie, you never look back." As the morning moved on, 2 paths as different as the heights of their buildings ran parallel through the same city, destined to cross again. To Natalie, the world had 2 classes, those who raise trophies and those who clap. Early on, she chose her side and walked as if the medal already swung on her chest. On the other side of town, Amelia's morning dragged on under the smell of disinfectant. Each time she bent to sweep or polish, her back throbbed. Yet she straightened her shoulders and repeated, "Just have to get through today." When noon came, she grabbed a piece of bread wrapped in a napkin and slipped out the back of the hotel. She sat on a crate, sipping water from a label-less bottle while checking her phone, waiting for her sister. Just then, a man walked out the service door and slowed down. Low cap, dark glasses, plain t-shirt. Clothes meant to blend in. Austin pretended to scroll his feed, but his eyes were on Amelia, chewing slowly, gaze steady despite the fatigue. The scene brought back his mother, who'd kept the house afloat without ever asking for help. A sudden tightness gripped his chest. Austin backed up a few steps, smiled faintly, and sealed a promise. That young woman doesn't know it yet, but her path is about to change. He pocketed his phone, adjusted his cap, and disappeared around the corner with a brand new plan. Amelia woke before sunrise. She tightened the laces on Lillian's sneakers, packed lunch, and lightly tapped her sister's forehead. "Behave yourself at school, deal?" "You too, Emmy," the girl replied with a still sleepy smile. On the bus to Crownville Towers, Amelia wore her spare uniform. The good one was still soaking, stained by last night's soup. When she opened her locker in the staff room, she froze. A brown paper bag sat there with no name on it. Inside, a brand new pair of gloves, a sandwich still steaming in its foil, and a folded note. "For the one who works lightly, even when the world feels heavy." Amelia looked around for the invisible hand that had left the gift, then took a bite of the bread. The steam warmed her face. It had been weeks since she'd had hot food in the morning, and a smile slipped out before she could stop it. Before we go on, hit subscribe and ring the bell so every new chapter reaches you right on time and nothing in this journey goes unnoticed. In a glass-walled office, Austin watched the internal camera feed thanks to a security deal. Noticing the quiet happiness, he murmured, "Small steps." Miles away, Natalie posed on a talk show showing off her new signature purse. She soaked up the praise, flashed charm, and as soon as the lights went down, she turned to the team. "My coffee's cold. Fire the intern." No one answered. The studio seemed to shrink. While the order echoed, Amelia carefully stowed the gloves, unaware that this morning would change more than the coffee's temperature. Natalie had grown used to walking icy corridors where smiles became masks and every gesture had edges. Even there, something was starting to shift. Late that night, Austin called the regional manager of the Grand Royal again. His voice was low but firm. "I want her promoted. Do it quietly." The manager grumbled. "She's just a housekeeper." Austin ended the call. "She's worth a lot more." The next morning, Amelia was crossing the atrium with her broom when her name boomed over the loudspeaker. The supervisor looked up from his clipboard. "Amelia Bennett." She stepped closer. "You've been assigned to the VIP wing. You start tomorrow. Better pay, less mess." Amelia's eyes went wide. "I didn't even apply." He handed her a new badge. "It's done." Rumors soon slithered through the halls. Who's backing her? Must have a sponsor. Amelia heard but kept walking. She didn't understand the sudden turn, only felt a quiet joy that kept sneaking out. That night she told her sister Lillian everything, and Lillian hugged her tight. "Told you the wind could change." In the darkest corner of the lobby, a guest in a lowered hat watched. It was Austin, showing up more and more, noting how Amelia treated every guest as the only one. The care in her welcome notes, the ease with which she lifted trays. Something inside him was growing, ready to break cover, though he didn't know how or when. That night, a brown envelope appeared on Natalie's desk just before she left. Inside, a grainy but clear photo, her car splashing mud on Amelia. A note, "Not everyone forgets." Natalie tore up the paper, but her chest tightened. Someone had pierced her shield. Hours later, at the hotel, Amelia found a note in her locker. "Keep shining. The world sees you, even when they pretend not to." She touched the words, unsure whether to fear or root for whoever left them. The next morning, Amelia headed up to the VIP floor. The hallway smelled of freshly cut flowers. The carpet swallowed footsteps. She cleaned in silence, leaving every surface gleaming. In an armchair, a guest hid behind a newspaper. It was Austin, dressed simply. He watched her until he stood. "Excuse me, where's the Sky Lounge?" Amelia smiled. "I'll show you, sir." On the way, he asked, "How long have you worked here?" "Almost 2 years," she said. "It's tough, but it pays the bills." "And do you like it?" She thought, "No one dreams of mopping floors, but I'm proud of my work." He nodded. "You do more than clean, you light the place up." Amelia blushed. "Thank you, I think." Austin didn't say who he was. When he walked away, Amelia realized she was still holding the cleaning rag. But what weighed in her hand was the thought that someone, somewhere, could see past the uniform. At dusk, Natalie sat at a discreet table in an upscale bistro beside her father. She swirled the wine but didn't drink. "They're attacking me," she whispered steadily. "They posted a photo, now rumors are popping up. Looks like a campaign." He answered without changing tone. "Maybe they're just showing you who you are." Her jaw muscle twitched. "I've never hurt anyone." She swallowed hard, remembering all the steps she'd climbed without remorse. Hours later, in the hotel dorm, Amelia opened her locker and found a tiny bouquet. No note, just color and perfume. Her stomach flipped. Someone was watching her, not to harm, but to support. Her rise was drawing attention. Part of the staff whispered in surprise. Lucy, a veteran housekeeper, wrinkled her nose. "Here one day and already in VIP? Something's fishy," she grumbled. Amelia ignored the chatter and kept her rhythm. Later that shift, Austin returned to the hotel and asked for her section. They called her to a luxury suite. When she entered, he was seated. "You don't need to clean anything," he said. "I just wanted to thank you for your help the other day." She blushed. He asked, "If you could choose, what would you do with your life?" After a pause, she answered, "I'd study hotel management so I could run a place like this, but the tuition is out of reach." Austin listened in silence. In the dead of night, Lucy snuck into the supply room and swapped out Amelia's solution for a liquid as slick as oil. The next morning, the hallway gleamed, and with the first slip, chaos kicked off. The lobby's hush shattered when a guest slid and hit the floor. The manager rushed in, barking, "Who waxed this floor?" Fingers pointed at Amelia. Hauled into the office, she got an earful and, shaking, swore she was innocent. No one believed her, except Austin, the traveler watching from an armchair. He asked to see the security footage. When the tape rolled, it was obvious. Lucy had switched the cleaning products. The manager swallowed hard and begged Amelia's forgiveness. "Before we go on, hit subscribe and tap the bell so every new chapter shows up right on time and nothing on this journey slips past you." Tears of relief streaked down her cheeks as she left, still feeling the sting of humiliation. From afar, Austin watched anonymously, promising himself that one day she'd know the truth. Across town, Natalie scrolled her phone until she found the blurry photo of her own SUV parked any which way. Thousands of shares and nasty comments. Even faceless, everyone recognized her. "Who posted this?" she growled, taking it out on her assistant. Haley suggested an apology. Natalie laughed, but cracks were already showing in her confidence. Back at the hotel, the vibe shifted. Greetings replaced whispers. Lucy was suspended. That afternoon, Austin returned, no longer undercover. He walked up while Amelia was arranging flowers. "You again?" she teased. "I like to see what blooms," he replied. Amelia frowned. "You're not just a guest, are you?" He smiled and held out his hand. "Austin Clark from Clark Estates." Amelia was tugging on her receptionist gloves when she heard behind her, "I'm part of the team that runs the hotel." She turned, frozen. You're Austin Clark?" "Just Austin," he said calmly. "I've noticed you. Not in a creepy way," he added with a smile. A short laugh escaped her. "I saw what happened, the car, the mud, and how you kept going." Amelia's smile faded. "You didn't deserve that." He went on, "That scene hasn't left my mind." She tried to answer, but he spared her. "You don't have to say anything. I just want you to know I see you." After her shift, Amelia walked home feeling her heartbeat. It wasn't fear, it was the chance of something new. Someone powerful had treated her like she mattered. The night passed sleepless. Austin Clark had spoken to her as an equal. The next day, on her way to work, a sedan slowed beside her. The window rolled down. "Natalie." "You're Amelia, right?" Amelia stepped back. "I am." "What a fuss you stirred up," Natalie said, hiding her eyes behind sunglasses. "Now they paint me as the villain." "I didn't do anything," Amelia shot back. Natalie leaned in. "You didn't have to. Playing the victim always pays off. I'm not after pity, just piece to work." Natalie chuckled softly. "You think Austin really sees you? Men like him get bored fast. Don't fool yourself, sweetheart." The engine rumbled and the car pulled away, leaving Amelia on the sidewalk with Natalie's warning pounding like a dare. Amelia stayed in the lobby, shaken but steady. Inside, Austin waited for her in the cafe. When she arrived, she noticed the leather folder on the table. "What's this?" she ventured. "Your next step," he said, showing the document. "Full scholarship in hospitality starting next month. If you want, you can stay here part-time." Amelia's fingers brushed the letterhead. Her heart, used to rushing, almost stopped. "Why me?" "Because you never asked for anything and still always gave everything," he whispered. Across the room, Natalie watched in silence. The mockery she'd tossed weeks earlier was turning into an unexpected stepping stone. Later on the hotel terrace, the city winked below. Amelia held the letter, her ticket out. She thought of her mother, of daws spent scrubbing floors, of aches hidden under a uniform. In that moment, everything made sense. Austin showed up with 2 mugs of hot chocolate. "You're quiet," he noted, offering one. "I'm still processing," she admitted. "Is this real?" "You earned it," he assured her. "Every inch of it." She stared at him, surprised to see not the hotel heir, but someone who understood sacrifice. "I thought people like you didn't even notice people like me." "I went too long without noticing," he confessed. "My mom was a housekeeper too and raised me on her own. I see her in you." Steam drifted up from their mugs as if the future were taking shape right there between sips and promises. Amelia took a deep breath. The next page of her story had just turned. The next day at the monthly staff meeting, hotel management announced that Amelia would receive a scholarship. Maids, managers, and cooks rose to their feet. Applause rang off the chandeliers. The news raced down the hallways like a spark. The young woman who cleaned rooms at dawn now had a clear path to college. Those who whispered yesterday now clapped today. Amelia, composed, accepted the congratulations without showing off. Her silence said more than any speech. Not everyone was thrilled. Natalie crossed her father's anteroom with sharp steps, heels clicking on marble. Her flawless suit couldn't hide her irritation. "Why is everyone talking about her?" she snapped. "She's just a cleaner. Austin never noticed me, and now he's handing out scholarships like she's family." The director set down his pen, voice low and edged. "She deserves it, Natalie, for her effort and courage. You have talent too, but you still need to grow." The words hung in the air. Natalie left without replying. Hours later, Austin walked Amelia to the modest building where she lived. Under yellow streetlights, the road seemed to hold its breath. They laughed about exams and plans when the door creaked. A little girl darted out. "Lillian!" Amelia beamed. "What are you doing out here?" "I heard you laughing," the child whispered, climbing into her sister's arms. Then she looked at Austin, curious. "Is he your friend?" His smile raised more questions than answers, hinting at coming chapters. Austin knelt to Lillian's height and introduced himself with a soft grin. Reflexively, Amelia hugged her sister and murmured, "She's everything to me." The scene touched Austin in an unexpected way. Moments later, Lillian disappeared down the corridor, and Amelia walked the visitor back to the hotel gate. Under the lamp's yellow glow, he ventured, "Everything started in the mud, but maybe it ends in something beautiful." Her heart raced. Her look answered with hope. "Maybe," she said. "This is just the beginning." The next day, a local blog splashed, "From Mud to Merit, the cleaner who inspired a billionaire." The headline soared online. Comments sprouted. "This is kindness. She deserves the world. Cinderella is real." Amelia wanted only a chance. Now the public narrated her every step. At the hotel, her posture shifted, light yet firm. At night, her classes drew praise from professors. Austin showed up quietly, offering discreet support. His feelings were already visible. But not all applause is sincere. Unable to stomach someone else's success, Natalie paid a blogger to spread the rumor that Amelia had seduced Austin for money, all carefully planned. The gossip set the internet ablaze in hours. On her lunch break, Amelia stared at the fake headline, felt her stomach drop, and heard whispers rise again. She folded her uniform, punched out halfway through her shift, and left, unsure whether she would find strength or more stones in her path. Before we go on, hit subscribe and tap the bell so every new chapter reaches you right on time and no part of this journey slips by. The next morning, Austin didn't dodge the spotlight. He gathered reporters on the headquarters steps and under flashing lights declared, "Amelia Bennett is no gold digger. She's the most dedicated and honest person I know. If you disagree, check your priorities, money or heart." The surprised murmur turned to applause. Across town in her small apartment, Amelia pressed a hand to her lips, feeling the world spin. That night, the doorbell rang, a red rose with a delicate note. "Let the world whisper, I'll always defend your truth. Austin." The tears came without warning. She wasn't just seen, she was embraced. The following day, doors began to open. The once distant scholarship was confirmed. At work, the manager invited her to the strategy meeting and, for the first time, asked her opinion. At school, classmates recognized the strength that had always been there. Amelia was no longer just the cleaner. She was becoming a role model. As she rose, Natalie's fall echoed through elite corridors. Investigators traced the defamatory blog back to her. Her father, furious, pronounced sentence, "You didn't just hurt Amelia, you made our family a joke." He froze her accounts, suspended her from the board, and took away her cards and driver. The heavy silence that remained filled every corner of the mansion. For the first time, Natalie realized the cost of a lie that had seemed harmless. When Amelia walked into the hotel lobby, she found Austin holding the keys to a basic car. No driver, no security, just him, ready to listen. The invitation was simple: dinner on a quiet rooftop where the city lights seemed to breathe. Over the meal, Austin shed his own armor. "You reminded me what matters." Amelia blushed, sure she was just a fluke among countless paths. He touched her hand. "In a world that yells, your silence echoed." The line hung like a melody no one wanted to end. On the way back, they strolled side by side through calm streets. They stopped by the patch of mud where they'd first met. Austin pointed. "That's where it all began." Amelia smiled. "It covered me in dirt, you covered me in hope." He answered, "Now you're the one making this place bloom." The night air handled the rest. 12 months later, the ballroom of Crownville Towers gleamed at its 20th anniversary gala. Under shimmering chandeliers, the elite vied for attention until a figure in a sky-blue dress entered unhurried. No diamonds, no flashy label, yet every gaze turned. The former cleaner was now the honoree of the evening. Austin stood beside her, chest high, eyes promising what words couldn't yet say. Whispers rippled across the room, proof that some stories grip the audience even before the next chapter is known. They called Amelia to the stage. The hotel director handed her a plaque that summed up her journey, "For the strength, humility, and spirit that lifted us all." A year earlier, no one noticed the young woman heading to work in worn shoes and a hem stained with mud. One driver's indifference and a stranger's kindness set two markers that same morning: pain and care. Between them, courage was born. With a steady mic, she recalled that turning point. It isn't luck, it's persistence. It isn't status, it's kindness. Her words fell on the hall like light on still water, and even the servers paused to listen. In the eyes that shone, there was recognition that small gestures can redraw entire destinies. At the end of the ball, Amelia stepped through the lobby and back onto the street where everything began. The now smooth asphalt reflected the lamps. Unhurried, she slipped off her heels, felt the cool ground, and crossed. Austin watched, intrigued. "Leaving the last trace of who I was," she explained, "and stepping fully into who I am." He copied the gesture, barefoot beside her. They walked in silence, strides in sync, two dark lines across the damp surface. The camera pulls back while the image whispers that when life flings mud, one choice can make the ground blossom. If this story touched you, share it and tell us in the comments where kindness has crossed your path. Subscribe so you won't miss the next videos, give this one a like, and see you next time.